My husband Ben, 36, and his ex-wife Kate, 34, share two teenage kids. They have split custody 50-50ths, with no monthly child support, but Ben covers all insurance, medical costs, extracurriculars, and contributes $150 each to a college fund every month. I have a teenage daughter myself. Ben has a base income, but he used to receive bonuses and commissions. For commission checks, he would send Kate 50% of it, and for bonuses, he sent Kate 35%. This arrangement wasn't court-ordered, but was very regular. However, after Ben was in a car wreck and couldn't work for 5 months, he got fired. It took 3 more months to find another job, which catered to his new disabilities, but came with a significant pay cut and no more bonuses or commissions. During this time, I paid all the bills and covered his child obligations, including the average sum of what he sent Kate extra per month. After realizing his pay wouldn't recover, we talked to Kate and told her we could no longer afford to send her extra money as we were struggling financially. She seemed to understand. During this period, my child turned 16 and saved up $4,000 for a car. I had always promised to match whatever they saved, and this money was already put away. We found a car for $6,000, and my child pays for her insurance and gas. Ben's teen daughter saw this and somehow got Kate to lease a car. In fairness, Kate didn't consult us about it. The next month, she asked us for money. After some discussion, she assumed we had extra funds after seeing us buy my daughter a car. We explained that wasn't the case, but she got angry, cursed us, and ended up taking us to court for child support. The court determined that Kate makes significantly more than Ben and needs to pay $300 a month in child support for him and reimburse insurance. His past income didn't matter since he's now considered disabled. It's been about 3 months, and Kate's entire family is blowing up our phones, telling us how horrible and evil we are. They claim Kate is being threatened with eviction, and Ben's daughter's car is being repossessed. They say it's my fault because Kate only leased the car since she expected us to keep paying. Her paying child support means she can't afford rent, and I'm spoiling my daughter, playing favorites. Kate also says that my income plays a role since the kids live with me 50% of the time, so I'm horrible to deprive the kids. This makes me feel terrible. Am I the idiot here? I could pay, but I wouldn't be able to save since I'm paying more, and Ben makes way less. Not the idiot. Spouses have nothing to do with the financial responsibility of a child. The bio parents are responsible for child support, period. It's her own fault for assuming anything. Your husband was more than generous before the accident. Honestly, if it were me, my ex wouldn't have seen any of my bonuses or commissions. She screwed herself by taking you to court. She made her bed. Let her lie in it. She sounds very greedy and entitled to me, and you all are doing 50-50ths. She's lucky she's getting anything. I'm honestly shocked. Exactly. Any bonus or commission extras would go into a college or savings account or be used to buy things the kids needed, like nicer upgrades for their sports or hobbies. I wouldn't have just handed it directly to my ex. I hope those extras were documented for when they went to court. Kate was foolish and greedy, and she's now paying the consequences. This is also none of Kate's family's business. They don't get a vote. Block them. I just love the fact that Kate was cursing you and taking Ben to court, and yet she's now stuck paying child support. Wow, nothing like Schadenfreude. Disconnect your guilt button. You have nothing to feel guilty or horrible about. Kate brought this on herself. You should not have to suffer. I, a male teen, recently got my twin sister expelled from school after reporting her for the bullying she did. I don't think I did anything wrong, and my grandpa, 72, male, is on my side, but our parents, both 40, think I betrayed my sister. My sister has never been the nicest person. She got in trouble for bullying in elementary school and earlier in middle school, and she's gotten detention or in-school suspension before, but this is the worst punishment she's received so far. She can be mean to our siblings and cousins too if she wants to. We're in 8th grade now. A few weeks ago, I was playing basketball outside during lunch, which we're allowed to do. My friends and I were having a good time when we saw a boy crying on the grass. My friends and I went to see what was wrong. This boy told us about how he was bullied by a group of kids for being preppy, posting skincare routines on TikTok, and liking Starbucks iced coffee. He was generally seen as having a more feminine male aesthetic. The kids were calling him gay and using slurs, even though he's not gay. We told him we thought he was cool and started discussing skincare and fashion with us. We didn't know much about it, mostly sports stuff, but he actually knew quite a bit about it. He mentioned taking courses at a local college about fashion history. He's the same age as us. After we calmed him down, we asked if he wanted to play basketball with us, and we were amazed at how good he was. He said he's not really into sports, but he was naturally good and played hard, even scoring against a few of us when playing in teams. We encouraged him to potentially try out for the high school team, and he said he'd consider it. Over the next few weeks, we've started to hang out with him more and more. We were at the park playing with him when he dropped his phone. One of my friends picked it up and unintentionally opened up the messages on Instagram since he got a notification. He saw someone sending him awful messages. The boy noticed my sister was one of the kids sending him the messages. We told him it wasn't okay and that we go to the assistant principal with him. My sister and her friends were called into the office, and they all got into a bunch of trouble. It involved her, 3 other girls, and 2 other boys, one of whom is her boyfriend. My sister was the ringleader and the cruelest, so she got the harshest punishment and was expelled. My mother and father said I shouldn't have gone to the assistant principal and instead talked to them. My grandfather has a different perspective, since he was involved in progressive activist groups in his teen years and college years. While he's straight, he saw his gay friends get bullied and was horrified about what she was doing, even though it was to a straight boy. My sister is calling me an idiot, a snitch, and says she hates me. My friends are reassuring me that we did the right thing. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. I think you did your sister a long-term favor. If she never faces any consequences, how will she learn? If your parents always coddle her behavior, she won't see a reason to change. Even now, it seems like she has no regard for the person she hurt, and she's only mad that she's in trouble. You did the right thing. Your sister's actions are not acceptable, and she should face the consequences. She's only mad because she got caught and is in trouble. Does she show any remorse to the person she hurt? Your sister has been doing this for a long time, and she hasn't changed. Your parents obviously didn't solve anything in the past, so what good would it do just to talk to them now? Stand proud for what you did. We need more people like you in the world. You didn't get your sister expelled, she did. If you hadn't been there, your friends still would have asked him to join them, and your sister still would have been caught. Your parents protecting her from the consequences of her actions will make her worse. Also, huge props to you and your friends for not only talking to him, but including him in your group, even though he has different interests. Not everyone at your age would do that. Your grandpa sounds like an amazing person and the best role model. I, a 25-year-old female, have 4 older siblings. Seeing my parents regret having kids and struggle financially and physically, I realized from a young age that I didn't want children. I love kids, and spoiling my nieces and nephews is what keeps me alive, but I've never wanted any of my own. I've worked my whole life, set on one career, so why would I give it up for 18 years of regret? My husband doesn't want kids either, but he loves our nieces and nephews too. Well, my mother-in-law is a strong believer in the man being the breadwinner and the woman being a stay-at-home mother and housewife. She's very old-fashioned, and so is my husband's sister. My mother-in-law doesn't have any respect for me after finding out that I won't be having kids. Every time I see her, she makes comments like, "At your age, I already had kids," or "What are you even doing with your life with no kids?" It annoys me, but my husband says to just ignore it, and we only have to see her at family events. Now here comes the bad part. My father-in-law never wanted kids, but my mother-in-law baby-trapped him, and when my husband was 10, they divorced. My mother-in-law was depressed for a very long time and is still in love with him. The other day, my husband and I were invited to a small family get-together, and of course we went. Everything went well, and I was having fun. I picked up my husband's kid cousin and started playing with her. My mother-in-law took notice of this and walked over to me and said, "See, isn't that easy? Now you just have to have your own kids and do this. I mean, what else could you possibly be doing in your life? Stop slacking off." This annoyed me, and in the moment, I just said, "Oh, I don't want kids," kind of like father-in-law's name. Who knows, maybe my marriage will work out, unlike yours, because you're too selfish to take other people's feelings and wants into account. My mother-in-law stood there absolutely dumbfounded before bursting into tears. Everyone immediately rushed over, and when my mother-in-law told them, some laughed and some were mad. I felt so awful, and I wished I'd never said it. My husband dragged me to the car and said that although she had it coming, I could have found something else to say instead of absolutely tearing into her like that. I've received a few messages saying the same thing, but mostly calling me a messed up idiot. So am I. Not the idiot. That was long overdue, and if your husband had handled his mom sooner and not let it go on for so long, it all could have been avoided. Just ignore it is the biggest cop-out from a husband. I feel like a lot of bad situations on here could be avoided if someone really handled things sooner before the ultimate burst. Many times my husband would say if that were me, it would never even have gotten to that point. But I also get it. It's hard for people to really put up and enforce their boundaries, especially in a strong, assertive, yet respectful way. It took me many years. Not the idiot. It's always the worst when people who constantly degrade and belittle others are absolutely beside themselves when someone has the audacity to be honest with them. She was counting on you never saying anything to challenge her? Well, color her surprised. What family doesn't realize is that she's been bleeding you with 1,000 cuts, and you finally retaliated with a club to the face. You probably taken more damage and suffered more pain, but that kind of blunt force trauma is more visible. That's why they think you're worse. I'm a 25-year-old female living with my roommate, who is a 27-year-old female. I'd say that we're fairly good friends, but not especially close. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, my roommate's mom passed away unexpectedly. My roommate was understandably devastated. She flew home for a few days, but she's mostly been staying at our place. She asked for fewer shifts at her job, so she only goes in for a few hours 3 days a week. She used to be full-time. When she's not at work, she lays in bed or calls her dad. I feel so awful for her. Without asking, I took over almost all of the household duties. I've been cooking her meals, cleaning the whole house, etc. I even offered to clean her bathroom. We don't share one, and she took me up on it. Earlier this week, she was sitting on the couch reading a book, and I asked her if she would give me her rent money so I could give it to our landlord. She said, "You want me to pay rent after my mom just died? That's kind of mean." She said that she hasn't been working much, so she can't really afford rent anyway. I don't blame her at all for not working much, because she's obviously going through a difficult time. Not the idiot. You are helping out of kindness, and it's great that you've been supportive during her tough period. However, her response was an emotional reaction to her grief. You can give her some space and let her know that when she's ready, she can contribute again. It's not mean to ask for her share of the rent, but her mother's recent passing has understandably made her emotional and sensitive about such requests. Your actions are commendable, but it's important to maintain open communication and understanding during this time. I'm a grad student, so I don't have much money. I technically have enough money to pay for our rent this month, but I would have to dip into my small savings account, and I really don't want to do that. Also, I'm nervous about setting a precedent where she thinks it's okay for me to pay all of our rent and utilities. Our rent was due on the 1st, but I asked our landlord for a 2-week extension, and he was willing to be flexible, so now our rent is due on the 14th. My roommate still keeps insisting that I should cover it because she's grieving, but I keep pushing back and insisting that she pay her part. She called me an idiot, and our mutual friend also said I should just suck it up and pay her part. So am I the idiot for not paying her rent? Not the idiot at all. Sure, she's upset, but she needs to pitch in with the rent as long as she's staying. You've been kind to her by doing all the extra chores, but she owes you the rent money. As harsh as it sounds, she doesn't get to wiggle out of it because of her personal problems. You don't magically have more money just because her mom died. Make dipping into your savings the absolute last option, and definitely don't offer it to her as a solution. You will need that money if this living situation falls apart. If she thinks she should be exempt from paying rent because her mother died, then she can take that up with your landlord. Of course, she won't do that because she knows that's ridiculous. Tell your landlord the situation and stop being the middleman for her manipulation.